I'm begging you to stop believing your reality. The world you see today is often nothing more than the echo of old thoughts, old assumptions, and old beliefs. In How to Ignore Reality, you will discover the strange secret behind getting anything you want, not by reacting to what is, but by remaining loyal to what could be. How to Ignore Reality. Introduction. You stand at the threshold of understanding a profound universal truth. Reality is not a fixed landscape, but a fluid canvas shaped by your inner vision. Every moment is an invitation to recognize your creative power, not as a distant concept, but as an immediate breathing reality. The universe responds not to your words, but to the vibration of your belief. What you perceive as immovable circumstance is merely a temporary projection of your current consciousness. Your thoughts are not passive observations. They are active sculptors of experience. Imagine your mind as a luminous projector. What you cast upon the screen of existence is not predetermined, but a continuous choice. The appearances that seem so solid, financial struggles, relationship challenges, career limitations, are nothing more than shadows cast by your habitual thinking. The law of attraction operates with mathematical precision. It does not judge or evaluate. It simply matches the frequency of your dominant mental state. When you truly internalize this, you shift from being a victim of circumstances to a deliberate architect of reality. This is not about magical thinking or ignoring genuine challenges. Instead, it's about understanding that your inner landscape has primacy over external conditions. Your perception creates pathways where none seem to exist. Your belief generates momentum that transforms what appears impossible into inevitable. Every great transformation begins with a radical inner shift, a moment when you withdraw energy from what is and invest fully in what could be. You are not here to adapt to reality, but to generate it from the wellspring of your imagination. Your power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering your internal state. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and expectations with your deepest desires, the universe conspires to manifest those exact experiences. Some of what I share in these readings touches metaphysical laws that cannot be fully revealed in a single video. If you are ready for the deeper current, the knowledge reserved for those who truly seek, I've placed it inside our free newsletter, The Hidden Collection. Subscribe now, and you'll also receive a free copy of the Kabbalion, the ancient text where these metaphysical laws were first written down, available for a limited time only. Part 1. The Art of Unseeing the Obvious. Chapter 1. The Mirror and the Magician. In the tapestry of human experience, your attention is the most potent thread of creation. Consider Marjorie Bennett, a woman whose world seemed perpetually trapped in a cycle of frustration. Each morning she would wake and catalog her complaints: the traffic that made her late, the neighbors whose noise disrupted her peace, the weather that seemed to conspire against her comfort. Marjorie's days became a testament to the power of focused discontent. She would recount her grievances with remarkable precision, her words weaving a narrative of limitation and struggle. The universe, ever responsive to her persistent attention, echoed back exactly what she continually observed: more obstacles, more frustration, more reasons to feel stuck. What Marjorie did not yet understand was the profound principle of energetic attraction. Every moment of complaint was an investment, a form of currency that purchased more of the very experiences she wished to escape. Her mind was a fertile ground, and she was unknowingly planting seeds of struggle, watering them with her constant criticism. Then there was Harold Crane, whose life seemed to unravel when he lost his job. Initially, Harold fought against the circumstances, his mind a battlefield of resistance and fear. He rehearsed his misfortune, tallying the bills, imagining worst-case scenarios, his energy consumed by the apparent solidity of his challenges. But something shifted when Harold realized he was giving power to what was, rather than what could be. Instead of wrestling with the facts of his situation, he began to imagine himself already secure, already at peace. He stopped narrating his struggle and started visualizing his stability. The transformation was subtle yet profound. Within days, opportunities emerged. A connection led to a conversation. A conversation sparked a possibility. Where once there seemed to be only closed doors, pathways began to reveal themselves. Both Marjorie and Harold's stories illuminate a universal truth. Your attention is the most powerful creative force you possess. What you notice, you nurture. What you focus on, you fuel. Practice. When reality feels challenging, pause. Take a deep breath. Recognize that what you're experiencing is merely an outdated vibration. Allow yourself to rest attention on how relief feels instead. Silently affirm, I am witnessing a passing moment, not a permanent condition. Let your breath be a bridge between what is and what can be. With each exhale, feel the softening of resistance. With each inhale, welcome the possibility of ease. In this space of gentle redirection, you stop energizing the problem and start nourishing the solution already forming in unseen dimensions. Chapter 2. The Weather of Belief. You stand at the threshold of understanding a profound truth. Your inner landscape determines your external reality. Consider Evelyn May Porter, a young woman whose mind was a turbulent storm of academic anxiety. Her constant worry about failing exams became a self-fulfilling prophecy, each fearful thought weaving threads of potential failure into the fabric of her experience. Evelyn's story illuminates a universal principle. Belief is the climate in which your life unfolds, and events are merely passing clouds drifting across your personal sky. Her persistent terror of academic inadequacy created an emotional atmosphere so dense with doubt that failure became almost inevitable. Each moment she invested in worry was like watering seeds of disappointment, allowing them to take root and bloom into the very outcomes she most feared. In stark contrast, observe Franklin Dodds, a man who once blamed bad luck for his stagnant life. He lived trapped in a narrative of perpetual disappointment, his expectations acting like a magnet for frustration. But something shifted when he recognized the power of his internal dialogue. Instead of rehearsing stories of limitation, he began cultivating small moments of joy, brief sparks of gratitude that gradually transformed his inner weather. Franklin's transformation revealed a radical truth. Emotional harmony is a more potent creative force than any logical strategy. By choosing daily joy, by allowing moments of lightness to permeate his consciousness, he rewrote his life's script. Promotions emerged, laughter returned, and opportunities he once thought impossible began to materialize. These stories are not mere anecdotes, but living demonstrations of a universal law. Your inner state is the architect of your external experience. The universe responds not to your words, but to the emotional frequency you consistently broadcast. Practice. Imagine your mind as an expansive sky, your feelings as the daily forecast. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what mental weather do I choose to inhabit today? Let gratitude be your sunlight, warming and illuminating your inner landscape. As you train your atmosphere toward clear skies, outer events will naturally align. What once felt random will begin to dance to your emotional rhythm, and in your surrender to inner joy, everything external will brighten. Chapter 3. The Lemon Tree Paradox. You stand at the threshold of understanding how your inner landscape shapes the external world. Just as a gardener's touch transforms seeds into flourishing gardens, your consciousness breathes life into every circumstance around you. Consider Millie Hartman's lemon tree, a living testament to the power of belief. When she first planted it in her shaded yard, her words were not merely sounds but seeds of potential. "This tree will never grow," she would mutter, her doubt like a cold wind circling the fragile branches. Her consciousness, heavy with skepticism, seeped into the soil, whispering messages of failure to every root and leaf. The tree listened. It absorbed her doubt, her certainty of inadequacy, and began to wither. Not from lack of sunlight, but from the emotional climate she cultivated. Her tree was a mirror, reflecting her internal belief that growth was impossible. In stark contrast, Clyde Jefferson's relationship with his old bicycle revealed another truth. Where others saw a worn, rusty vehicle, Clyde saw potential. He spoke to it as though it were a treasured possession, washing it meticulously, admiring its lines and curves. His gratitude was not dependent on the bicycle's current state, but was a generative force that invited transformation. And then, as if responding to his unwavering appreciation, unexpected resources emerged. Money arrived through channels he had not anticipated, eventually allowing him to acquire an even more remarkable vehicle. But the miracle was not in the new bicycle. It was in his prior attitude of gratitude. The universe does not respond to your wants. It responds to your vibration, your emotional frequency. When you treat what you have with reverence, with love, you signal to the cosmic intelligence that you are ready for more. Your consciousness is not passive. It is a powerful creative force that impresses itself onto matter, onto circumstances, onto the very fabric of your reality. Every whisper, every thought, every emotion is a brushstroke painting your experience. Practice. Whenever faced with something not enough, speak to it lovingly. Treat it as a living witness of your faith. In doing so, you shift from demanding change to generating it through vibrational generosity. Soon your lemon tree and your life will bear fruit where logic predicted none. Practice. Whenever you encounter something that appears insufficient, a lack of money, opportunity, time, or support, resist the impulse to criticize it. Instead, greet it with kindness. See it not as an obstacle, but as a messenger inviting you to choose your inner state deliberately. Speak to the circumstance as though it can hear your faith. Appreciation where others offer frustration becomes a powerful declaration of trust in unseen growth. Imagine the lemon tree that seems barren. Logic studies its branches and predicts scarcity. Faith notices the roots, hidden beneath the soil, quietly gathering strength. In the same way, many of life's greatest transformations begin invisibly. When you respond to present appearances with patience and goodwill, You nourish possibilities that have not yet reached the surface. Your energy ceases to argue with what is and begins cooperating with what may become. Throughout the day, practice blessing what seems incomplete. Whisper inwardly, "I see more for you than you currently show." Let this attitude extend to your circumstances, your goals, and even yourself. Such generosity of spirit changes the quality of your attention. Rather than demanding evidence before believing, you offer belief first. Over time, what once appeared barren often reveals unexpected fruit, and what seemed impossible begins to feel like the most natural outcome in the world. Chapter 4. The Quiet Power. In the quiet corners of your restlessness, there lies a profound truth waiting to be discovered. You know this landscape intimately, the midnight terrain of racing thoughts, the exhausting marathon of mental struggle that keeps sleep just beyond your reach. Elsie Whitman understood this landscape better than most, her nights a turbulent sea of anxious whispers and relentless mental chatter. Each evening, as darkness settled, Elsie would replay her worries like a worn record. Bills unpaid, opportunities missed, fears magnified, her mind a ceaseless generator of turbulence. She believed that by thinking harder, analyzing deeper, she could somehow solve her challenges. But the universe operates differently. Your consciousness is not a problem-solving machine, but a creative instrument. The more Elsie fought her insomnia, the more powerfully it resisted. Her attempts to control her thoughts only tangled her deeper in mental brambles. This is the paradox of human struggle. Resistance breeds persistence. What you resist not only persists, but grows stronger, casting longer shadows across your inner landscape. Then came a profound shift, not through strategy, but through surrender. Clarence Boone's story illuminates this principle. After losing his business, his savings, seemingly everything, he did something unexpected. Instead of panicking, he became still. Not as an act of defeat, but as an invitation to inner peace. In that stillness, Clarence discovered something miraculous. Solutions do not emerge from frantic thinking, but from calm receptivity. When you stop trying to force outcomes, the universe begins to orchestrate on your behalf. Unexpected opportunities appeared, a friend's unexpected job referral, a forgotten insurance policy, a new home offered through a distant relative. The teaching is clear. Your inner state is the blueprint for external experience. Struggle is a habit of attention, not an immutable reality. When you release the need to constantly fix, manipulate, or control, you create space for grace to enter. Practice. Instead of wrestling thoughts tonight, whisper, "I release the need to fix this." Let the quiet rearrange the world for you. The more serenity you entertain, the more chaos dissolves without argument. Chapter 5. Imaginary Friends and Real Miracles. In the grand tapestry of creation, you are not merely a participant, but the weaver of your own extraordinary design. Your imagination is not a child's playground of idle dreams, but the sacred loom where reality takes shape, thread by luminous thread. Consider Nora Clement, a woman who understood that the inner landscape precedes the outer terrain. Before a single interview materialized, she began dwelling in the vibration of her ideal professional existence. She did not merely hope, she inhabited. In her mind's eye, she walked the corridors of her dream workplace with the quiet confidence of someone already belonging. She heard the hum of collaborative energy, felt the satisfaction of meaningful work, and breathed the atmosphere of professional fulfillment. When opportunities began to emerge, they did not feel like strangers arriving unexpectedly, but like long-anticipated friends returning home. Her inner rehearsal had already prepared the stage, and the external world could not help but mirror her internal conviction. Similarly, Graham Fields discovered that love is not something to be pursued, but a state to be embodied. He began treating each day as a honeymoon with life itself, not with some distant, hypothetical partner, but with the present moment's rich tapestry. His appreciation was not contingent on external validation, but flowed from an internal wellspring of joy and openness. The universe listens not to your words, but to the frequency of your being. When you truly live as though your desired reality is already present, something miraculous occurs. The boundary between imagination and manifestation becomes gossamer thin, and what once seemed impossible begins to take shape with elegant precision. Your inner world is not separate from your outer experience. It is the blueprint, the energetic template from which all physical reality emerges. Every thought is a seed, every sustained feeling a gardener tending that seed's growth. Practice. Close your eyes daily and play pretend, not foolish fantasy but foundational creation. The world hears imagination as instruction, not make-believe. Live inside the wish fulfilled, and watch life rush to join the play you have already begun. Chapter 6. The Echo Principle. In the grand tapestry of universal communication, you are both the messenger and the message. Your inner dialogue creates vibrations that ripple far beyond the boundaries of your immediate perception. Hazel Monroe discovered this truth through her own painful journey of perpetual disappointment. Hazel's world seemed a cold mirror, reflecting her own caustic energy back to her with relentless precision. Her words were razor-edged, cutting through conversations with sharp sarcasm and bitter observations. She complained endlessly about the lack of kindness surrounding her, never recognizing that her own speech was a toxic broadcast system, sending out signals of resentment and frustration. The universe listens not to your words, but to the energy beneath them. Every muttered criticism, every sardonic comment, every whispered complaint becomes a frequency that attracts corresponding experiences. Hazel's world was not conspiring against her. It was simply responding to her internal soundtrack. Contrast emerged through Leonard Briggs, who initially believed manifestation was about forceful declaration. He would shout affirmations like battle cries, his underlying doubt thundering louder than his proclaimed intentions. He learned that true alignment is not about volume, but vibration. When Leonard shifted from demanding to believing, when he replaced forceful proclamations with quiet confidence, something miraculous occurred. The world around him softened. Opportunities emerged not through aggressive pursuit, but through gentle receptivity. His inner peace became a magnet for synchronicity. Your communication with the universe is a delicate dance. It requires not just words, but the pure frequency of belief. Doubt is noise that scrambles the signal. Trust is the clear channel through which miracles flow. The wisdom here transcends simple, positive thinking. It is about authentic resonance, allowing your inner state to become a pure transmission of what you truly desire. Practice gentle inner conversation. Speak to the universe as to a beloved friend, and listen in equal measure. Soon every echo will sound like love. Chapter 7. Shadows in the Sunlight. You stand before the mirror, and what do you see? Chances are you witness not a reflection, but a projection of your inner dialogue. Clara Dean's journey reveals a universal truth. The world is but an echo chamber of your most intimate beliefs. Clara spent years cataloging her perceived imperfections. Each morning she would scrutinize her reflection with a critical eye, magnifying every perceived flaw. Her gaze was a harsh lens, transforming natural variations into unforgivable flaws. Her skin was too pale, her nose slightly asymmetrical, her curves not precisely aligned with societal standards. With each critical thought, her perception grew darker, more restrictive. The universe listens intently to your inner conversations. It does not judge the content, it simply reflects. And so, Clara's world began to mirror her ruthless self-assessment. People seemed to look past her. Opportunities felt distant, and her confidence withered like a plant denied sunlight. The transformation began subtly. One quiet morning, exhausted by her own criticism, Clara chose a different path. She looked at her reflection and whispered, "I forgive you. You are worthy." The words felt foreign, almost uncomfortable. But something shifted in that moment. Her external world began to change. Strangers started smiling more warmly. Opportunities that once seemed invisible now appeared naturally. Her mirrors, both literal and metaphorical, softened, revealing a beauty she had long concealed behind harsh judgment. Walter Finch's story echoes a similar truth. An artist in his later years, Walter had watched his hands grow weathered, marked by time's gentle touch. Where others might see decline, he saw a map of experiences, each line a testament to a life richly lived. Instead of mourning lost youth, Walter appreciated the creative hands that had crafted countless paintings. He touched his skin with reverence, seeing not age, but wisdom, and miraculously, the world responded. Strangers began commenting on the soulful quality of his artwork, praising the depth and authenticity captured by hands that had lived. Your perception is a paintbrush, constantly coloring your reality. What you reject internally will inevitably appear externally. But when you choose love, when you decide to see beauty instead of flaw, the entire landscape of your experience transforms. Practice. Each morning glance at something imperfect and bless it. Let sunlight replace your shade. The world surrounding you brightens when you decide to see what shines within it. Chapter 8. Listening beyond noise. In the delicate dance of creation, you stand as both the choreographer and the dancer. Your desire to control every step often becomes the very weight that slows your movement. Ruby Collins discovered this truth when her manifestation journey became a battleground of expectation and doubt. Ruby's hands would tremble as she scribbled affirmations, her eyes darting between the words and her current reality. "I am successful," she would write, then immediately scan her bank account, her workspace, her life, searching for evidence. Each affirmation felt like a prayer thrown into a void, met with silence. She monitored her intentions like a vigilant sentinel, believing that constant watchfulness would somehow accelerate her dreams. But the universe whispers a different wisdom. Manifestation is not a mechanical process of input and output, but a living, breathing dance of energy. Your desires are seeds planted in the fertile ground of consciousness, and like all living things, they require space to grow. Constant digging, constant checking, these actions do not nurture growth. They interrupt the natural unfolding. Everett Lowe understood this mystery intuitively. After years of pushing and straining, he learned to release his grip on time and expectation. Where Ruby would frantically count days and calculate probabilities, Everett simply trusted. He planted his intentions like a patient gardener, knowing that some seeds germinate in darkness, unseen. The core teaching emerges with gentle clarity. Your manifestations do not require your constant supervision. In fact, they flourish best when you create space for them to breathe, to develop, to surprise you. Ease is the secret fertilizer of dreams. When you stop demanding and start allowing, miracles find smoother pathways. Your energy is a powerful transmitter. Each time you check, doubt, or worry, you send a signal of lack. But when you release, when you trust, you broadcast a frequency of abundance. The universe responds not to your words, but to the vibration underneath, the quiet confidence that knows your desires are already in motion. Imagine your intentions as delicate glass sculptures, constant touching, turning, examining. These actions risk creating fractures. Instead, place them carefully in the light of your trust and step back. Let them catch the sunlight. Let them transform in their own time. The practice today is an invitation to radical trust. Relax your timelines today. Whisper, "It unfolds perfectly, even now." Rest opens the door effort cannot. Chapter 9. Pretending Until True. In the grand theater of manifestation, you are both the actor and the director, crafting reality through the subtle art of inner performance. When Bessie Wilcox stepped into that exclusive boutique, her steps were not tentative or apologetic. They were deliberate, as though wealth walked beside her. She did not merely imagine abundance. She embodied it completely. Wealth is not something external to acquire, but a state of being you cultivate from within. Your internal script writes the external narrative. Bessie understood this profound truth. Confidence is not about proving your worth to others, but experiencing your own inherent value. Edmund Pierce's story echoes this universal principle. At home, he played music not as a lonely musician practicing, but as a maestro hosting an unseen yet palpable celebration. His energy did not plead for recognition. It radiated an expectation of joy and connection. The universe responds not to your words, but to your vibration. When you perform your desired reality with genuine conviction, invisible mechanisms begin to align. Your inner state becomes a magnetic force, drawing experiences that match your fundamental belief. This is not about pretense or false bravado. Authenticity is the key. True manifestation emerges from a place of quiet certainty, a gentle knowing that transcends desperate wanting. You are not trying to convince the world of your worth. You are simply remembering who you already are. Practice. Act today from your desired identity with quiet certainty, not boastful show. Let authenticity emerge through play, and truth will follow your lead. Practice. Act today from the version of yourself who already embodies the qualities you seek, not through performance or pretense, but through quiet certainty. A tree does not announce its growth, it simply grows. In the same way, allow your actions, choices, and reactions to reflect the identity you wish to strengthen. The most powerful transformations often occur without fanfare. As you move through the day, approach life with a sense of lightness and play. Experiment with new ways of thinking, speaking, and carrying yourself, not as a test, but as an exploration. Authenticity flourishes when there is room to breathe. When you stop trying to prove who you are, you become free to express it naturally. Let your desired identity feel familiar, comfortable, and alive within you. Whenever doubt arises, return to simple embodiment rather than explanation. Ask yourself, how would this version of me respond right now? Then act from that answer with ease. Over time, repeated expression becomes character, and character becomes reality. Truth often follows those who gently lead with conviction, allowing their inner state to shape the outer world one moment at a time. Chapter 10. The Playground Rule. In the tapestry of human experience, you are both the weaver and the thread. Lillian Drake's story unveils a universal truth that echoes through the chambers of manifestation. Comparison is the thief of wonder, and envy is a cage constructed from misunderstood potential. Lillian watched her friends' successes like distant stars, believing they shone with a light reserved for others. Each promotion, each new home, each joyful milestone became a painful reminder of what she thought impossible for herself. Her gaze, fixed on their achievements, created an invisible barrier between her current reality and her deepest dreams. The universe whispers a profound secret. Every success you witness is not a taunt, but an invitation. When another rises, it is proof of the ladder's existence, not evidence of your inability to climb. Your friends' triumphs are not walls, but windows, revealing what is possible when belief transforms into action. Marcus Hale understood this mystery intuitively. Where others saw competition, he saw connection. Instead of shrinking before others' achievements, he began to genuinely celebrate them. Each time a colleague advanced, he offered authentic congratulations. Each time a friend launched a dream, he became their most enthusiastic supporter. Something magical occurred. As Marcus redirected his energy from comparison to celebration, his own vibrational field transformed. His cheers were not hollow performances, but genuine recognitions of potential. The universe, ever responsive, began orchestrating opportunities around his newfound perspective. Your perception is a creative force. When you witness success and feel genuine joy, not manufactured enthusiasm, but true, resonant happiness, you signal to the cosmic intelligence that abundance is natural, accessible, and welcome in your experience. The playground of manifestation expands when you stop guarding the swings and start inviting everyone to play. Your celebration becomes an energetic invitation, a vibrational welcome mat for prosperity. Practice. Celebrate evidence of abundance wherever you notice it. Treat every success as a communal invitation. The playground enlarges when you stop guarding the swings. Choose 3 instances of success around you, in your workplace, among friends, or in your community. Pause and genuinely celebrate these achievements. Write a heartfelt congratulation, make a sincere compliment, or simply acknowledge the effort and triumph silently within yourself. Feel the expansiveness of true appreciation. Beneath every teaching on this channel runs a deeper metaphysical current, the unseen laws that shape reality itself. For those whose awareness is ready to receive it, I've gathered the deeper layer inside our free newsletter, The Hidden Collection. Join now, and you'll also receive a free copy of the Kybalion, the original text that revealed these metaphysical laws to the world. Limited time only. Part 2. The Sacred Power of Forgetting Limits. Chapter 11. The Blank Page Trick. When Daisy Fowler awoke each Monday morning, her mind was a landscape of impending doom. Before her first sip of coffee, she had already choreographed a narrative of struggle, disappointment, and frustration. Her mental rehearsal was so precise, so deeply ingrained, that the universe seemed to have no choice but to follow her script. Every Monday carried the weight of her expectations, a heavy cloak of anticipated misery that she unconsciously draped over herself. Her thoughts were not mere passing considerations, but powerful architects constructing her reality. Each worried whisper, each anxious prediction became a brick in the wall of her experience. The universal law at work here is simple yet profound. Your consciousness does not merely observe reality, it creates it. Your inner dialogue is not a neutral commentary, but an active instruction manual for life's unfolding. When you consistently predict difficulty, you are not preparing. You are programming. Nelson Booth understood this principle differently. Where Daisy saw Mondays as obstacles, Nelson viewed each morning as an untouched canvas, waiting for the first brushstroke of possibility. He had learned that expectations are not predictions, but invitations. When Nelson shifted his inner narrative, something remarkable happened. He began to see each day not as a continuation of past struggles, but as a fresh emergence of potential. His mornings were no longer a replay of previous disappointments, but an open invitation to unexpected grace. The core teaching resonates with a fundamental truth. Your mind is a powerful editing tool. Just as a writer can delete a paragraph and rewrite the story, you can erase limiting assumptions and rewrite your experience. The past is not a binding contract. It is merely ink that can be crossed out. Your thoughts are not passive observations, but active creators. Each mental image you hold is a seed planted in the fertile ground of potential. What you consistently imagine, you gradually manifest. The mind does not distinguish between what is and what could be. It simply responds to your most dominant focus. When you catch yourself predicting struggle, pause. Take a breath. Recognize that this prediction is not a fact, but a habit. You have the power to interrupt this pattern, to choose a different mental script. The invitation is to become a conscious creator, not a reactive observer. Your life is not happening to you. It is happening through you, shaped by the thoughts you consistently nurture. Practice. Visualize tomorrow as blank paper waiting for joy's handwriting. The act of forgetting yesterday creates script for miracles. Chapter 12. Sculpting Air. You have been taught that manifestation is a battle, a strategic conquest where willpower becomes your weapon and determination your shield. But what if creation is less about forcing and more about flowing? What if the universe responds not to your commands, but to your subtle invitation? Anita Graves knew control intimately. She mapped her dreams like military campaigns, scheduling every potential breakthrough, color-coding her aspirations, tracking progress with spreadsheets and timelines. Her approach was precision incarnate, yet nothing materialized. Each carefully plotted strategy left her more exhausted, her dreams feeling further away with every meticulously planned step. The universe whispers through inspiration, not intimidation. Creation is a dance, not a dictation. When you grip too tightly, you strangle the very energy seeking to move through you. Consider Tucker Wells, who discovered manifestation's true rhythm. Instead of pressuring outcomes, he began playing. He approached his work with childlike curiosity, letting ideas float like dandelion seeds carried by unexpected winds. Where Anita's spreadsheets yielded frustration, Tucker's playfulness generated unexpected opportunities. His career transformed not through relentless effort, but through receptive joy. The core teaching emerges. Manifestation is communion, not command. Your desires are living energies that respond to gentleness, not force. They are shy creatures that emerge when you create spaciousness, not when you corner them with aggressive intent. Imagine your dreams as delicate butterflies. Chase them, and they flutter away. Sit quietly. Create a nurturing environment, and they might land softly upon your open palm. Your manifestation power resides in your ability to be simultaneously clear and unattached. Know what you desire, but release how it must arrive. Trust the intelligence of inspiration over the rigidity of strategy. Practice. Approach desires as an artist caressing clay made of air, gentle, imaginative, receptive. The invisible responds to softness quicker than pressure. Practice. Approach your desires the way a master artist approaches an unfinished sculpture. There is no strain in the artist's hands, only vision, patience, and trust in what is emerging. When you hold a desire too tightly, you treat it as something distant and difficult. When you hold it gently, you create space for it to take form naturally. Imagination becomes your workshop, and expectation becomes the quiet confidence that the unseen is already being shaped. Throughout the day, notice moments when you are tempted to force outcomes or measure progress obsessively. Instead of pressing harder, soften your attention. Picture your desire as clay made of light, responding not to struggle but to your steady belief. Let your thoughts touch it with appreciation, possibility, and curiosity. The more relaxed your inner relationship with the desire becomes, the more easily you remain aligned with its fulfillment. In the evening, spend a few moments envisioning your wish as already complete. Do not analyze how it will happen. Simply enjoy the feeling of its presence. Like an artist stepping back to admire a creation taking shape, allow yourself to appreciate what is forming beyond the reach of your senses. The unseen often responds most readily when imagination is paired with ease, trust, and quiet receptivity. Chapter 13. The Secret Garden Within. You stand at the threshold of understanding how your inner landscape shapes the world around you. Just as a gardener knows that seeds require more than mere planting, they demand tender attention, faith, and the right emotional climate. So, too, do your dreams need careful cultivation. Mabel Curtis spent years believing that prosperity was a battlefield to be conquered through relentless toil. Her days were filled with grinding labor, her nights consumed by anxiety about financial survival. Each moment was a struggle, each task performed with a sense of desperate urgency that paradoxically pushed abundance away. Her thoughts were thorny, her emotions acidic, and her harvest reflected this inner turmoil. Contrast emerged through Vernon Cross, who understood that manifestation flows not from desperate effort, but from aligned ease. Where Mabel saw work as warfare, Vernon perceived creation as a dance. He approached his goals with lightness, treating his intentions like delicate seedlings requiring gentle nourishment. Vernon's secret was emotional alchemy, transforming potential stress into quiet confidence. When challenges arose, he did not combat them, but observed them with serene curiosity. His inner dialogue was not of struggle, but of trust. "This too shall integrate," he would whisper, allowing solutions to emerge naturally. The universal principle revealing itself through their experiences is profound. Your internal state is the true fertilizer of external results. Effort without joy produces barren ground. Strain creates resistance. But when you approach your aspirations with a sense of playful expectancy, miracles begin to sprout. Your consciousness is the garden. Your emotions are the water. Your beliefs are the sunlight. What you cultivate internally will inevitably manifest externally, not through force, but through harmonious alignment. Practice. Tend your inner garden by feeling satisfaction even before results bloom. The fragrance of contentment summons real blossoms. Chapter 14. When Facts Fade. In the garden of consciousness, you are the sovereign gardener, and every thought is a seed awaiting your nurturing touch. Olive Merrick stood surrounded by paper phantoms, debt statements that seemed carved in stone, each document a testament to her perceived limitation. Her eyes traced columns of numbers with the reverence of someone reading an unalterable scripture, believing these financial records were immutable truths rather than temporary landscapes. But the universe whispers a different wisdom. What you anchor your attention to, you inadvertently cultivate. Your focus is a magnifying glass, capable of expanding or diminishing any experience. Olive's constant meditation on scarcity was like pouring salt into her own soil, rendering her inner landscape barren and unyielding. The teaching here is radical, yet simple. Deliberate amnesia is a spiritual practice. The less faith you grant unwanted facts, the more quickly they lose their gravitational pull. Your consciousness is not bound by historical evidence, but by the current frequency of your belief. Bernard Pratt understood this principle intimately. Where others saw financial constraints, he rehearsed inner freedom. He did not deny his current situation, but refused to grant it permanent residence in his imagination. Each morning he would close his eyes and feel the sensation of abundance, not as a future promise, but as a present reality. Imagine your thoughts as gardeners. Some plant seeds of worry, others of hope. Which gardener will you invite to tend your inner landscape? The one who examines every weed with microscopic attention, or the one who sees potential bloom even in seemingly barren ground? Your power resides not in fighting your current circumstances, but in softly redirecting your inner narrative. Like turning a ship's helm with gentle precision, you can alter the entire trajectory of your experience through subtle shifts in perception. Practice. Assume each worrisome fact is a ghost dissolving under your gaze of faith. Watch disappearance happen quietly. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Visualize any concern as a transparent, fading image. Do not struggle against it. Simply observe its gradual dissolution. Feel the spaciousness emerging as each worry becomes translucent, then vanishes. Breathe. Release. Allow. Chapter 15. The Invisible Choir. Facts are loud, but silence speaks volumes. Your world is not defined by what appears visible, but by what remains unheard, the whispers of potential that dance between thoughts, waiting for a moment of pure listening. Phoebe Lane understood this secret before most. Where others heard only noise, she discovered silence carried intricate musical scores of possibility. Her journey began not with grand gestures, but with tiny moments of intentional quiet. Working as a marketing consultant, Phoebe had grown weary of constant strategizing. Every decision felt like pushing against invisible walls, each plan more exhausting than the last. Traditional approaches yielded predictable results, and predictability felt like a cage. One unremarkable afternoon, she stopped, completely. Not in defeat, but in deliberate stillness. She closed her eyes and allowed the internal chatter to settle, like sediment slowly sinking in clear water. In that moment of absolute receptivity, something shifted. Intuition began to speak, not in words, but in elegant impressions. Insights about her work, her clients, her next moves emerged not through effort, but through listening. The harder she tried to hear nothing, the more clearly guidance arrived. Leon Mooney walked a similar path in his entrepreneurial world, where spreadsheets and analytics once dominated his decision-making. He learned to trust an inner melody more nuanced than data. His business choices began emerging from a place of calm knowing rather than frantic calculation. Both Phoebe and Leon discovered that when you quiet the mind's constant narration, intelligence far beyond rational thought becomes audible. The universe communicates in whispers, not shouts. And those who learn to listen find themselves guided with astonishing precision. Your facts are not immutable truths, but temporary echoes. They lose power when you withdraw attention, becoming transparent and ultimately irrelevant. The moment you stop wrestling with appearances, a more elegant intelligence takes command. Practice. Sit each morning in the concert hall of stillness and hear what only calm can conduct. The chorus of clarity requires your hush to perform. Chapter 16. Broken Clocks Still Tell Time. You stand at the crossroads of time, where perception becomes the architect of possibility. Dorothy Vance's story is your story, a narrative not confined by the rigid lines of calendars, but sculpted by the fluid imagination of consciousness. For years, Dorothy believed she had missed her moment. At 52, she watched dreams slip through her fingers like sand, convinced that opportunity was a train that had long departed. Her internal dialogue echoed with regret. Too old, too late, the world has moved on. But time, that seemingly immutable force, is actually a servant to your beliefs. It bends and reshapes itself according to the frequency of your expectation. When you truly understand this, clocks become meaningless and potential becomes limitless. Lester Poe embodied this wisdom differently. Where others saw limitations, he saw choreography. When friends suggested his age restricted new beginnings, he would smile and declare with unwavering certainty, "My timing is perfect." And remarkably, the universe listened. You might wonder how such declarations work. It's not magical thinking, but a profound understanding that your inner state generates external reality. When you truly believe in perfect timing, synchronicities align. Doors previously unseen suddenly swing open. Opportunities that seemed impossible begin assembling themselves around your conviction. Dorothy's transformation began subtly. She stopped apologizing for her age and started celebrating her accumulated wisdom. Each morning, she would stand before her mirror and affirm, "I am exactly where I need to be. My journey unfolds with grace and precision." Slowly, almost imperceptibly, her world began to shift. A writing workshop she'd always dreamed of attending suddenly felt accessible. A mentor appeared who recognized her latent talents. Connections that had eluded her for decades started emerging naturally. Lester's path mirrored this principle. He didn't chase opportunities. He became an energetic match for them. His belief that timing was always perfect created a magnetic field of possibility. Careers, relationships, creative projects all arrived with an effortlessness that seemed miraculous to others, but felt completely natural to him. Your relationship with time is not about racing or waiting, but about trusting. Each moment contains infinite potential when you remove the constraints of linear thinking. Age becomes irrelevant. Past becomes malleable. The future? It's constantly being rewritten by your present state of consciousness. Practice. Treat delay as divine choreography. Greet waiting with celebration. Miracles mature on schedule unseen to clocks. What I share in these readings is only the surface of a far older wisdom, the metaphysical laws that govern manifestation, energy, and reality itself. The true depth lives inside our free newsletter, The Hidden Collection. Sign up now and receive a free copy of the Kybalion, the ancient book where these metaphysical laws were first revealed. Available for a limited time only. Chapter 17. The Lighthouse Game. When life's storms swirl around you, remember that your inner state determines the voyage. Sylvia Rivers discovered this truth when her world seemed adrift, scattered thoughts like turbulent waves threatening to capsize her dreams. At first, Sylvia's attention flickered between fears: financial uncertainty, career stagnation, relationships in constant flux. She was a ship tossed by external winds, believing herself powerless against life's unpredictable currents. Her mind darted from one worry to another, each thought creating ripples of anxiety that seemed to push her further from her desired destination. The transformation began when she learned to become the lighthouse instead of the lost vessel. This wasn't about controlling external circumstances, but about radiating a steady internal light of certainty. Just as a lighthouse stands immovable amidst the most violent storms, Sylvia began to cultivate an unwavering inner calm. Dwight Ware's parallel journey illuminated this principle further. Where once he scrambled to manipulate situations, he now imagined himself radiating steady assurance. His internal shift was subtle yet profound. He became a beacon of calm that naturally guided cooperation from those around him. The universal law revealed itself. Attention fixed in joy attracts safe harbors. Your inner state is the true navigation system. When you stabilize your inner landscape, external circumstances begin to align. The world doesn't create your experience. Your experience creates the world. This isn't about forced positivity or denying challenges. It's about choosing where you place your primary attention. Like a lighthouse keeper maintaining the beacon regardless of the storm's intensity, you can maintain your inner peace amid life's fluctuations. Practice lighthouse meditation. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine yourself as an immovable lighthouse standing strong against turbulent seas. Feel your roots extending deep into the earth, your beacon of inner light shining steadily. Place one hand on your heart. Whisper, "I am the beacon. My certainty guides me. I radiate calm and attract ease." Visualize your light expanding, not through force, but through gentle, unwavering presence. Ground each decision in light-hearted certainty. The sea will follow, beam toward ease. Being the beacon ends endless searching. Breathe. Know that you are not subject to the waves. You are the light that transcends them. Chapter 18. The Feather Law. You stand at the precipice of understanding a profound universal truth. Manifestation is not about wrestling reality into submission, but about becoming a gentle conductor of energy. Ginny Boyd's story illuminates this delicate dance between desire and surrender. Ginny had always believed success required relentless pushing, grinding through each moment with intense determination. Her days were marathons of strategic planning, her nights filled with anxious calculations. She would diagram her goals like military campaigns, believing that sheer willpower could bend the universe to her commands. Yet the universe operates differently. It responds not to force, but to frequency. Like a musical instrument, it vibrates in harmony with your inner state, not your external struggles. Arthur Holt understood this intuitively. Where Ginny would strategize, he would breathe. Where she would control, he would allow. His manifestations arrived not through combat, but through a kind of elegant drift, like a leaf carried by a gentle stream, precisely where it needed to be. The core teaching emerges. Your desires are living energies. They do not require your constant management, but your trust. Imagine your intention as a delicate soap bubble. Squeeze it, and it bursts. Hold it lightly, and it floats exactly where currents of possibility guide it. Your most powerful moments of creation happen not in tense effort, but in relaxed expectation. When you release the need to micromanage every detail, you create spaciousness for miracles to emerge. Arthur would smile when opportunities arrived, not because he had planned them, but because he had trusted. His businesses flourished, his relationships deepened, and his life unfolded with an almost magical ease that bewildered those still trapped in struggle. The universe whispers, "Let go and let flow." Practice. Release grip on how things happen. Breathe faith enough to feel light. Miracles weigh nothing until you burden them with doubt. Chapter 19. Undoing Gravity. The weight of ancestral struggle clung to Edith Watts like an inherited cloak, woven from generations of hardship and limitation. Her family's stories echoed through her mind, tales of struggle, of never quite having enough, of life being a constant battle against scarcity. Each generation had passed down not just memories, but a vibrational blueprint of difficulty. But something within Edith began to stir. A quiet whisper of possibility emerged, challenging the heavy narrative that had defined her family's existence. She started to see how belief acted like invisible gravity, pulling similar experiences into her reality with relentless precision. Memories of her grandmother's constant refrain, "Life is hard and then you die," began to lose their power. Edith realized these were not immutable truths, but simply rehearsed stories that could be rewritten. Around the same time, Clarence Ford underwent a similar transformation. He had long identified himself as a struggler, a title he wore like a badge of honor. believing it demonstrated his resilience. But one day, he simply chose a different identity. "I am a receiver," he began to tell himself. "I receive ease, abundance, and grace." The shift was subtle, yet profound. Where tension once lived in his body, a newfound lightness began to take residence. His shoulders relaxed. His breath became deeper. The very energy around him seemed to change. Edith watched her own transformation mirror Clarence's. She noticed how her thoughts, when gentle and expectant, seemed to create smoother pathways. The universe, she discovered, was not a harsh taskmaster demanding constant effort, but a responsive field, waiting to align with her inner state. Each time an old narrative of struggle attempted to resurface, she would pause, she would breathe. She would remember that she was not bound by her family's historical experience, but free to create her own vibrational inheritance. The practice became her anchor. When heaviness visits, smile softly and whisper, "False gravity." The moment you name illusion, you rise. In that whisper lay liberation, a recognition that the weight she had carried was nothing more than a story, and stories can always be rewritten. Chapter 20. The Laughing Prophet. In the vast theater of existence, where most actors take their roles with grave solemnity, you are about to discover a profound secret. Laughter is the hidden key that unlocks transformation. Your world is not a serious stage, but a playground of infinite possibilities waiting to be awakened by the magic of lightheartedness. Rosie Beck understood this wisdom long before many around her. Where others saw obstacles, she saw opportunities for unexpected humor. Her life was not a battleground of struggle, but a comedy of delightful surprises. She realized that taking life too seriously was like wearing heavy armor in a dance. It restricted movement, blocked joy, and prevented the spontaneous magic of the universe from flowing through. When challenges arose, Rosie would first find the comedic angle. A missed opportunity became a hilarious misadventure. A setback transformed into a ridiculous plot twist. Her ability to laugh, truly laugh, at life's complexities became her superpower. She understood that humor was not dismissal, but a profound form of spiritual alchemy that transmuted heavy energies into light. Milton Drew walked a similar path. He discovered that resistance melted fastest when approached with playful curiosity. Where serious strategizing failed, a moment of genuine laughter succeeded. His business meetings became lighter, his relationships more fluid, and his opportunities more abundant, all because he learned to see the inherent comedy in human striving. The universe, it seems, has a delightful sense of humor. It responds not to desperate pleading, but to the energy of joy. When you can smile at what once seemed impossible, you signal to the cosmic intelligence that you are no longer bound by limited perception. Your laughter becomes an invitation, a vibrational signal that says, "I am open to magic." Your practice today is simple yet transformative. Find something in your environment that typically might trigger stress, a challenging situation, an old worry, a repeated pattern. Look at it, really look, and then, with full awareness, smile. Not a forced smile, but a knowing, gentle smile that acknowledges the absurdity of taking everything so seriously. Feel how this smile begins to shift your internal landscape. Notice how the energy around the situation starts to lighten. The universe loves a playful heart. a spirit willing to dance with uncertainty rather than wrestle it into submission. Practice. Find something absurd, smile at it knowingly, and feel your field lighten. The universe loves to join those who giggle at impossibility. Part 3. Living Beyond Sight. Chapter 21. The Curtain Trick. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where fear is merely a thin veil waiting to be drawn back, revealing the luminous stage of your true potential. Lydia Kane once trembled before life's uncertainties, her inner world a landscape of shadowed doubts and whispered anxieties. But something remarkable happened when she began to see fear not as a permanent resident, but as a temporary actor on the stage of consciousness. Imagine your inner landscape as a grand theater. Fear is but a heavy curtain draped across your potential, creating an illusion of limitation. Lydia learned to approach this curtain not with struggle, but with gentle curiosity. She realized that behind every trembling moment lies a reservoir of calm assurance, waiting, always waiting. When Wilbur Eston confronted his own internal storms, he discovered a profound truth. Chaos is a performance we unconsciously direct. By stepping back from the drama, by refusing to feed the narrative of struggle, he witnessed something miraculous. Support, invisible, yet tangible, existed all along. It had been present, quiet and steady, while he was busy constructing narratives of difficulty. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. It communicates through the language of ease, of subtle shifts in perception. Your inner stage is always ready, always prepared to showcase your most radiant self. Fear is simply a costume, a mask that can be removed at will. Consider how actors prepare backstage, calm, focused, knowing their true power lies not in the moment of anxiety, but in the moment of performance. Your life operates on similar principles. The backstage of your consciousness holds everything you need: courage, wisdom, resilience. Wilbur's transformation emerged not from fighting his fears, but from recognizing them as transient experiences. He began to treat his worries like passing clouds, acknowledging their presence without becoming entangled in their shadow. This subtle shift created space for unexpected grace to enter. The art of drawing back the curtain is a practice of gentle revelation. It requires trust in yourself, in the unseen support surrounding you, in the inherent intelligence of the universe that conspires in your favor. Practice. Each worry, picture drawing back a curtain revealing brilliance. In acknowledging hidden stagecraft, fear loses spotlight. Take a moment, close your eyes. Visualize a heavy velvet curtain representing your current fears. With your mind's hand, slowly draw it aside. Behind it, see pure, radiant light, your untouched potential, your innate power, waiting to be acknowledged. Breathe into this revelation. Chapter 22. The Window Switch. In the vast theater of existence, you are not merely a spectator, but the master of perception. Helen Bright's story illuminates a profound truth. What you choose to observe becomes the very fabric of your reality. Each glance is a brushstroke, each moment of attention a sculptor's chisel shaping the landscape of your experience. Helen's daily ritual involved consuming digital streams of tragedy and despair. Her eyes traced headlines of suffering, her mind a receptacle for global pain. With each scroll, each news report, She wove a tapestry of darkness, believing she was witnessing truth when in fact she was creating her emotional climate. The universe whispers constantly, but you must tune your listening. Where Helen saw only shadows, another might see the same scene and discover threads of hope, resilience, human connection. Your window is not a fixed frame, but a malleable portal through which consciousness flows. Elliot Hooper understood this sacred principle. When confronted with the same world Helen perceived as bleak, he consciously redirected his attention. He began noticing the barista's gentle smile, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the morning light catching droplets of dew. Each small moment of appreciation became a portal of transformation. Your perception is not passive observation, but active creation. Every glance is an invitation, every moment of attention an energetic transmission. When you shift your gaze from what diminishes to what illuminates, you are not ignoring reality. You are expanding it. The news, the challenges, the apparent limitations are not your master. They are transient scenes passing through the grand theater of your consciousness. You have the power to change the lighting, to shift the narrative, to rewrite the script. Elliot's world didn't change externally. He changed internally. By choosing gratitude, by training his attention on moments of beauty and connection, he became a generator of light. His inner landscape began to radiate, attracting experiences that matched his newfound perspective. Practice. Choose which window you stare through today. The frame determines the scene. Your gaze paints landscapes. Chapter 23. The Invisible Bridge. In the landscape of transformation, you stand at the edge of possibility, where fear whispers caution and courage beckons. Your inner terrain is marked by invisible boundaries, limits drawn not by reality, but by the trembling hand of uncertain belief. Flora Davis understood this landscape intimately. She had spent years watching life from safe distances, her dreams pressed against windows of hesitation. Every opportunity felt like a chasm too wide, every risk a potential fall into unknown depths. Her mind crafted elaborate scenarios of failure, each more vivid than the last, constructing invisible walls that seemed impenetrable. But the universal truth waiting to be unveiled was simple. Safety is not found in stillness, but in movement. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to step forward despite it. Your potential does not reside in guaranteed outcomes, but in the faith that transforms uncertainty into opportunity. Clyde Avery embodied this principle. Where others saw impossible gaps, he saw potential bridges. His inner landscape was mapped not by limitations, but by trust. When conventional wisdom warned of risks, he listened to a deeper wisdom, the quiet voice of possibility that resides within all who dare to believe. Each time you hesitate, you reinforce the illusion of separation between where you are and where you wish to be. But imagination is the first architect of reality. Before physical bridges manifest, they are constructed in the realm of thought, built with the materials of belief, hope, and unwavering trust. Your perception creates passageways where logic sees only empty space. Every dream that has ever transformed into reality began as a whispered possibility, nurtured by faith more substantial than concrete evidence. The core teaching emerges. Trust is the bridge builder. When you step forward with conviction, the universe conspires to support your movement. Invisible supports emerge precisely when needed, not a moment before, teaching you that faith is an active, dynamic energy. Practice. Walk mentally where you wish to stand physically. Each stride of belief builds invisible planks solid enough to carry destiny. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Visualize the destination of your heart's truest desire. Feel your feet moving confidently across unseen bridges. With each imagined step, sense the solidity forming beneath you. Constructed by your unwavering belief, your trust in the unseen supportive forces of the universe. Chapter 24. The Radiator Effect. In the quiet landscape of human experience where emotions paint invisible brush strokes across reality, you stand at the threshold of understanding how inner climate shapes external experience. Like countless souls before you, Ida Ray had learned to wait, waiting for love to arrive, for warmth to discover her, for tenderness to interrupt her solitude. Her heart was a room with shuttered windows, temperature controlled by past wounds and unspoken fears. She believed love was something that happened to her, not something she could generate from within. Each relationship felt like a draft through a cracked window, momentary and unreliable. Victor Blaine represented a different approach. Where Ida waited, he cultivated. Where she anticipated external rescue, he practiced internal affection. His secret was radical. He loved himself first, completely, without condition. Each morning, he would place his hand on his heart and whisper words of genuine care, as though speaking to a cherished companion. The universe listens to these intimate conversations, not to the loud declarations, but to the soft, persistent murmurs of self-acceptance. Victor understood that affection is an energy, not a transaction. It flows from inside, radiating outward, warming everything it touches. Ida's pattern had been different. She collected evidence of her unlovability, rehearsing old stories of rejection. Her inner dialogue was a cold wind, pushing away the very warmth she craved. But transformation begins with recognition, and Ida was about to learn that she could rewrite her emotional climate. The core teaching emerges. Warmth is not something you receive, but something you generate. Like tending a small internal flame, you must nurture your own emotional temperature. Affection is not dependent on external validation, but springs from your inherent worth. Practice. Inner warmth meditation. Close your eyes and place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly, allowing each breath to feel like a gentle embrace. Whisper to yourself, I am worthy of tenderness. I am the source of my own warmth. Imagine a soft golden light expanding from your heart center. With each breath, this light grows warmer, more luminous. Let it fill your entire being, not as an external force, but as your own intrinsic radiance. Repeat silently, I generate love. I am love's constant temperature. Feel the warmth spreading through your body, melting any internal coldness. This is not imaginary. This is the truest form of manifesting. By generating inner affection, you become a beacon that attracts matching experiences. There are metaphysical truths I cannot speak openly in these readings, laws too powerful to share with those who are not yet ready. For the ones who are, I've placed the deeper teachings inside our free newsletter, The Hidden Collection. Subscribe now, and you'll also receive a free copy of the Kybalion, the ancient text where these metaphysical laws were first preserved, available for a limited time only. Chapter 25. Unlearning the Obvious. In the realm of manifestation, you stand at a crossroads where perception meets creation. Fanny Walsh embodied the skeptic's stance, arms crossed, demanding concrete proof before allowing even a whisper of possibility to enter her world. Her life was a fortress of facts, each brick mortared with doubt, each window shuttered against the soft light of potential. Consider how tightly you, too, might grip the known, mistaking certainty for wisdom. The universe whispers that belief is the architect of reality, while proof is merely its shadow. Samuel Tate understood this profound truth. Where others demanded blueprints, he trusted the unseen blueprint of intention. When Samuel faced professional uncertainty, he did not frantically search for guarantees. Instead, he cultivated an inner landscape of calm certainty. He listened to the quiet voice beneath logic, the intuitive knowing that speaks in feelings rather than words. His mind stopped wrestling with how and surrendered to what if. Imagine releasing the need to understand every mechanism of transformation. Your rational mind is but a small window through which infinite potential peaks. The moment you stop demanding explanations, miracles begin their silent choreography. The core teaching reveals a sacred sequence. Believe first. Evidence follows, not the reverse. Your doubt is nothing more than a habitual curtain drawn across life's vast stage, blocking the performance of possibility. Samuel's journey showed that when intuition leads, logic inevitably catches up. Opportunities emerged not through forceful strategy, but through relaxed expectation. His professional path unfolded with an ease that confounded his previous skeptical self. You are not required to see the entire path, only to trust the next step. Each time uncertainty rises, remember that faith is not blind. It is the most precise vision, seeing beyond current appearances into the realm of becoming. Practice. Each time your mind demands evidence, smile and whisper, "Wait and see." Faith's patience manufactures facts. Chapter 26. The Velvet Rope Syndrome. You stand at the edge of possibility, watching life's most cherished experiences unfold for others, believing some stages are not meant for your performance. Bonnie Pratt knew this feeling intimately, the sense that abundance, love, and success were exclusive performances where she held only a spectator's ticket. Her world appeared divided by invisible barriers, velvet ropes of limitation she herself had woven from threads of doubt and inherited beliefs. Each time an opportunity approached, she would unconsciously step back, averting her gaze from experiences that seemed reserved for more confident souls. The universe whispers a profound truth. Exclusion is a self-constructed illusion. Your perception creates the boundary. Your belief erects the rope. When Gilbert Mann encountered similar mental barriers, he made a radical choice. He stepped forward with unshakable certainty, as though belonging was his birthright. What transformed Gilbert's experience was not external permission, but internal conviction. He approached life's grand stages not as an apologetic visitor, but as a welcomed participant, and miraculously, the world responded. Where Bonnie saw barriers, Gilbert saw invitations. Where she perceived rejection, he encountered welcome. The core teaching emerges with crystalline clarity. Your inner narrative determines your outer experience. The velvet ropes of scarcity are mental constructs, fragile as morning mist. waiting to dissolve the moment you recognize their insubstantiality. When you believe you belong, the world rearranges itself to confirm your belief. Exclusion is a story you tell yourself, and stories can be rewritten. Your certainty becomes the key that unlocks seemingly closed doors. Your confidence the passport that grants entry into realms once thought unreachable. Imagine yourself not as an outsider peering through windows, but as an integral part of life's grand unfolding. Every experience, every opportunity carries your name, even if you haven't yet recognized it. Identify one desire you've marked off limits and mentally remove the rope. Inclusion begins inward, and the outer club doors open in reflection. Chapter 27. The Skykeeper. In the landscape of human experience, storms are not your master. They are merely passing visitors across the vast, unchanging sky of your inner world. You are not defined by temporary turbulence, but by the boundless peace that always resides beneath the clouds. Opal Harding knew storms intimately. Each thunderous rumble sent tremors through her being, triggering a primal fear that contracted her entire consciousness. When dark clouds gathered, she would forget the immensity of the sky, shrinking herself into a moment of perceived helplessness. Her breathing would become shallow, her muscles tense, her mind spiraling into catastrophic narratives of potential destruction. Yet the sky itself remained unchanged. Behind every storm, behind every dark cloud, an infinite blue waited, patient, untroubled, eternal. This was the wisdom Amos Reed understood profoundly. When challenges descended upon his family, financial struggles, personal losses, unexpected setbacks, he would close his eyes and breathe into the remembrance of underlying harmony. Storms are not our definition, he would tell his children. They are merely experiences passing through our larger experience. We are the sky, not the weather. His perspective was not about denial, but about maintaining connection to a deeper truth. Where Opal would contract, Amos would expand. Where she would see threat, he would see movement. Where she would lose herself in momentary darkness, he would anchor into the light that always existed. When economic hardships threatened their family's stability, Amos did not panic. He saw the storm as an opportunity for growth, for realignment, for discovering inner resources they had not yet recognized. His calm became a lighthouse, guiding his loved ones through uncertainty with unwavering certainty. The core teaching crystallizes a profound universal principle. Your essential nature is not determined by external conditions. You are the vast, unchanging consciousness through which experiences, like clouds, simply pass. Whenever worry clouds appear, remember your identity as keeper of sky, not prisoner of weather. Serenity stretches wider than any storm. Practice. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Visualize yourself as an expansive blue sky. Watch thoughts and emotions drift like clouds, present but not defining you. Feel the unchanging peace beneath temporary movements. Whisper to yourself, I am larger than any storm. My essence is calm, my spirit unshakable. Chapter 28. The Choice Painter. In the vast canvas of human experience, you are the artist, and your thoughts are the brush strokes that color your reality. Lucy Barr understood this truth only after years of painting her world with shadows of fear and disappointment. Her mind was a relentless creator, but instead of crafting landscapes of possibility, she meticulously detailed scenarios of potential disaster. Each morning, Lucy would wake and begin her ritual of mental destruction. She would imagine missed opportunities, financial ruin, and relationships crumbling before they even began. Her imagination was a powerful brush, and with each stroke of anxiety, she unknowingly guided her life toward the very outcomes she feared most. The universe listens to your internal dialogue with remarkable precision. It does not distinguish between what you want and what you repeatedly envision. Your consciousness is a living, breathing paintbrush, and every thought is a color that gradually fills the canvas of your existence. Gordon May discovered this sacred principle differently. Where Lucy saw threat, he saw potential. When challenges arose, he chose to imagine resolution, grace, and unexpected beauty. His mental palette was rich with optimism, compassion, and creativity. Instead of painting walls of limitation, he sketched bridges of possibility. Your thoughts are not mere fleeting whispers. They are creative instructions sent to the vast intelligence that surrounds you. Every worry is a request, every hope a blueprint. The world does not happen to you. It happens through you, emerging from the colors you consistently choose to apply. Imagine your consciousness as an infinite gallery. Each thought is a painting waiting to be displayed. Each emotion a frame that gives context to your creation. What masterpiece are you preparing to reveal? What landscapes of experience are you quietly constructing in the silent studios of your mind? The power resides not in controlling every outcome, but in consciously selecting the emotional hues you wish to spread across your life's canvas. Your imagination is not a passive window, but an active paintbrush, constantly in motion, always creating. Practice. Consciously choose hues of thought before your day begins. Color each scene with optimism, so life's canvas reflects beauty back. Chapter 29. Dream Currency. In the gallery of life, you are the artist wielding brushes more powerful than gold, your thoughts. Beatrice Kerr had spent decades painting her world in shades of scarcity, each stroke calculated and fearful. Her mental canvas revealed landscapes of limitation, bills that seemed insurmountable, opportunities that appeared forever out of reach, and a heart constantly measuring what might be lost rather than what could be gained. Every calculation became a wall, every worry a barrier. She would spend hours tallying her resources, tracking every penny with a precision that drained the very energy of abundance. Her spreadsheets were monuments to fear, her budgets prison walls constructed from past disappointments and inherited beliefs about struggle. But wealth is not a mathematical equation. It is a living, breathing energy that responds to your emotional frequency. Just as a painter does not count each droplet of paint but creates with abandon, true prosperity flows from an unrestricted spirit. Ralph Sutter understood this divine principle. Where others saw constraints, he saw potential. He began treating joy as his primary investment, spending enthusiasm like a wealthy patron commissioning miracles. His laughter became currency, his optimism a bank that never knew bankruptcy. When Ralph approached life, he did so with an open hand and an even more open heart. He celebrated others' successes as though they were his own, understanding that abundance is not a limited resource to be hoarded, but an infinite ocean in which everyone can swim. Your relationship with resources is a reflection of your inner landscape. Scarcity is not a fact. it is a chosen perspective. When you begin to see wealth as an energy that moves through you rather than something you must desperately protect, everything changes. Imagine your thoughts as paintbrushes, each stroke capable of transforming the canvas of your experience. Will you draw lines of fear or sweep broad, confident strokes of possibility? The choice has always been yours. Practice. Treat enthusiasm as currency. Spend generously without fear of depletion. The more joy you circulate, the richer the reflection. Chapter 30. The Unseen Audience. In the silent chambers of your inner world, thoughts are not whispers, but thunderous declarations. Madeline Frost learned this truth when she believed her private affirmations held no power, that significance required an audience. Yet the universe operates on a different frequency, one where silence is the most potent amplifier and intention travels faster than sound. Madeline had long rehearsed her dreams in muted tones, believing her aspirations needed external validation. She would murmur desires into empty rooms, quickly dismissing them as inconsequential. But something profound shifted when she realized every unspoken word carries an energetic signature that resonates through unseen dimensions. Willis Kemp understood this mysterious principle intuitively. He recognized that every thought is a performance, every internal dialogue a cosmic broadcast. The universe, he discovered, does not require megaphones or public declarations. It listens with infinite patience to the quietest of intentions, responding not with human applause, but with precise transformative action. Your thoughts are not mere mental chatter. They are powerful transmissions, broadcasting on frequencies beyond human perception. Each gentle affirmation, each soft declaration of possibility, sends ripples through the fabric of reality. The cosmos does not judge the volume of your proclamation, but the authenticity of your inner resonance. When you speak kindly in secret, you are engaging in the most sacred form of creation. Your private rehearsals become the blueprint for external manifestation. The world does not create your experience. Your inner landscape sculpts the terrain of your reality. Every whispered "I am" carries more weight than 1,000 loud proclamations devoid of genuine belief. Imagine your thoughts as seeds planted in fertile, unseen ground. They do not require an audience to germinate. They require only your consistent, gentle nurturing. The universe listens with an attentiveness that human ears cannot comprehend, collecting every nuanced intention and preparing its perfect response. Practice. Speak kindly in secret. Invisible spectators respond with tangible blessings. Your reality is the encore of your private rehearsals. Part 4. The Mastery of Gentle Rebellion. Chapter 31. The Polished Stone Secret. Your inner landscape is a universe more vast and responsive than any external terrain. Sadie Barlow discovered this truth when she confronted her life's challenges with whispers instead of shouts, learning that transformation rarely announces itself with thunderous proclamations. Sadie had long believed that significant change required dramatic gestures. Her problems seemed mountainous: financial strain, professional uncertainty, relationship tensions, and her initial impulse was to meet these challenges with forceful resistance. She would strategize, plan, worry, and combat each obstacle with mental energy that felt more like warfare than healing. But something profound shifted when she understood the principle of gentle momentum. Just as a river reshapes stone not through explosive force but through patient, consistent flow, her subtle internal adjustments could redirect entire life currents. Her affirmations began as barely audible murmurs. I am capable. Abundance flows to me. I trust my path. These quiet declarations were not loud declarations of conquest, but soft invitations to possibility. She learned that the universe does not respond to volume, but to vibrational authenticity. Each whispered intention was like a delicate pebble dropped into the vast pond of potential, creating ripples far more powerful than aggressive splashing. Henry Bloom embodied this wisdom perfectly. Where others might have attacked unpaid bills with frustration, he chose gratitude. He would hold each invoice and whisper genuine thanks, not for the debt, but for the opportunity to transform his relationship with money. His approach was radical, seeing financial challenges as teachers rather than enemies. The core teaching crystallized: momentum happens through gentleness. Your energy, not your volume, determines manifestation. When you align with grace, solutions emerge with elegant simplicity. The universe reads your internal state with microscopic precision, responding to the subtle frequencies of your belief. Practice. Remember that every subtle gesture of gratitude polishes the stone path ahead. Quiet faith outshines loud fear when consistency becomes your daily sparkle. Chapter 32. The Invisible Compass. In the intricate landscape of human experience, you are never truly lost, only momentarily disconnected from your inner guidance. Your intuition is not a distant signal, but a living compass, always humming with wisdom, far deeper than the noise of overthinking. Luella Grant knew this noise intimately. Her mind was a tangled web of potential outcomes, each decision feeling like navigating a labyrinth blindfolded. Pros and cons would swirl endlessly, creating a mental storm that obscured her natural direction. She would spend hours, sometimes days, analyzing every minute detail, believing that if she could just calculate enough scenarios, the perfect path would reveal itself. But intuition does not speak through calculation. It whispers through feeling, through that subtle inner knowing that arrives before thought, a gentle magnetic pulse pointing toward alignment. Frank Naylor understood this secret. Where others saw complexity, he learned to listen to the quiet voice beneath mental chatter. When faced with critical choices, he would close his eyes, breathe deeply, and allow stillness to speak, not through loud proclamations, but through soft, unmistakable guidance. The universe communicates in subtleties. Your internal compass is not a screaming navigation system, but a delicate instrument calibrated to your highest path. It doesn't demand. It suggests. It doesn't force. It invites. Each time you quiet your mind's relentless analysis, you create space for true wisdom to emerge. Intuition arrives not as a thunderbolt of certainty, but as a gentle nudge, a whispered hint, a feeling that feels like coming home. When Frank learned to trust these subtle signals, his life began to flow with an elegance that strategic planning could never achieve. Opportunities appeared, challenges dissolved, connections formed effortlessly. Your inner guidance system knows routes your conscious mind cannot comprehend. It sees beyond immediate limitations, understanding the intricate dance of possibility that unfolds beyond logical perception. Trust is not about guarantees. but about surrendering to a wisdom larger than your current understanding. The practice is simple, yet profound. When uncertainty rises, pause, breathe. Listen not with your ears, but with your entire being. Allow stillness to settle around you like a gentle mist. Your compass never yells. It hums softly from within, and always, unfailingly, points toward freedom. The next time uncertainty whispers, pause until stillness points the way. Chapter 33. The Star Ledger. In the vast landscape of human experience, you stand at the threshold of understanding a profound truth. Luck is not a finite resource to be exhausted, but an infinite wellspring waiting to be discovered. Helen Puckett's belief that she had depleted her reservoir of good fortune was but a mirage, a shadow cast by fear onto the luminous terrain of possibility. The universe does not keep score as humans do, tallying wins and losses in some cosmic accounting ledger. Instead, it responds to the frequency of your inner dialogue, the vibration of your deepest beliefs about your own worthiness. When you believe luck runs dry, you create exactly that experience, a self-fulfilling prophecy of scarcity. Consider Walter Dodd, who transformed his perception by reimagining life's events not as random occurrences, but as personal constellations. Each moment of joy, each unexpected kindness, each small victory became a star in his personal sky. Where once he saw darkness and depletion, he now witnessed an expanding universe of potential. Your worthiness is not earned through struggle or measured by external achievements. It is an inherent state of being, as constant and unchanging as the stars themselves. The cosmic energy that breathes life into galaxies flows through you, abundant and inexhaustible. Your only task is to recognize this truth and align with it. Imagine your life not as a limited bank account of luck, but as an infinite landscape of opportunity. Each thought you nurture, each emotion you cultivate, becomes a brushstroke on this grand canvas. When you paint with colors of gratitude, possibility, and self-love, the picture transforms. Walter's revelation came not through grand gestures, but through a subtle shift in perception. He began acknowledging the small miracles, a kind smile from a stranger, an unexpected moment of peace, a breakthrough in understanding. These were not mere coincidences, but confirmations of his inherent connection to the abundant universe. Your luck does not run out. It expands, breathes, and grows with your awareness. The more you recognize the continuous flow of grace moving through your life, the more that grace multiplies. You are not a passive recipient of fortune, but an active creator of your experience. Practice. Each evening note at least one luminous thought or event, not to measure success, but to illuminate your internal firmament. Over time, you'll see that you were always rich in stars. Chapter 34. The Eternal Morning. You stand at the threshold of each morning like a gatekeeper uncertain of what lies beyond. But what if dawn were not a summons to battle, but an invitation to grace? What if each sunrise whispered not of tasks and burdens, but of endless potential waiting to unfurl? Irene Cole had known exhaustion as her closest companion. Her mornings arrived weighted with invisible chains, past disappointments, unfinished projects, lingering anxieties that clung like morning mist. She would wake and immediately catalog her limitations, The emails awaiting response, the deadlines threatening to collapse upon her, the endless stream of obligations that seemed to define her existence. But the universe holds a secret about renewal that transcends human constructs of time and effort. Each moment arrives pristine, untouched by yesterday's narratives. Your consciousness is the true creator, not your calendar or your to-do list. When you recognize this, mornings transform from battlegrounds into playgrounds of possibility. Consider Donald Briggs, who discovered a radical approach to dawn. Where others saw pressure, he saw potential. Where most perceived work as a burden, he experienced each sunrise as a standing ovation, celebrating his mere presence in the grand theater of existence. His mornings were not about surviving, but about thriving. The teaching here is profound in its simplicity. Your relationship with time determines your experience of life. When you greet each day as a fresh canvas rather than a continuation of yesterday's painting, something miraculous occurs. The energy of anticipation replaces the weight of expectation. Imagine treating each sunrise not as a demand, but as a delicate gift. Your awareness can transform the very texture of time. Instead of bracing against the day, you can welcome it. Instead of defending against potential challenges, you can open yourself to unexpected beauty. This is not about denying reality, but about understanding that reality is far more fluid than you've been taught. Your consciousness is the true architect, constantly rebuilding and reimagining your experience with each breath, each thought, each gentle shift of perception. Practice. Upon waking, whisper, "It begins beautifully again." Let your awareness of innocence infuse each hour until existence feels like one continuous morning. Every audiobook on this channel is a doorway, but the full map of the metaphysical laws lies beyond what I can reveal in any single video. That map is shared privately inside our free newsletter, The Hidden Collection. Join now and receive a free copy of the Kybalion, the original text that first revealed these metaphysical laws to humanity. Limited time only. Conclusion. The true art of ignoring reality is not blindness but vision, no longer mistaking reflection as cause. You are no longer a participant reacting to circumstance, but an author composing experience. This practice of gentle disregard for what already is shifts your loyalty toward what wishes to become. Each story and teaching in these chapters reminded you that your attention is sacred currency, that faith writes fact, and that peace is not a reward, but a prerequisite. By stepping out of consensus limitation, you join creative partnership with the infinite imagination that formed worlds. Your task now is simple. Remember, you are not at the mercy of appearances. Appearances are at the mercy of your consciousness. As you walk forward, eyes half closed in trust, you will begin recognizing miracles not as rare interventions, but as natural language spoken between your heart and the universe. And when you finally stop believing in the tyranny of reality, you will realize the entire cosmos has always been conspiring in quiet joy, waiting for your permission to fulfill your most radiant vision.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.